Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Today I wanted to show off my Cattleya Time-Life, which is Irene Finney crossed with mossiae, and these flowers are huge. They are 6 inches natural spread. They're probably like 8 if I flattened out the flower. They're massive. And this is probably my most fragrant Cattleya. It's one that I got back in 2008. I ordered a lot of plants back in 2008 because I realized that I could grow them under lights in Idaho. So things that I love about this are the purple flaring here and there, and at the dorsal sepal there. I love that. I love flared things. And the lip, I don't know if it's going to show up, but there is this velvety texture in the lip, especially right there, kind of in the throat. And then the striping, I love the striping up there in the throat. That's so beautiful. And so I forget if I just said this is one of my most fragrant Cattleyas. This is the best blooming it's had ever. I usually get one flower from it, but it is now starting to pick up because of my better lighting. I did stuff some cotton balls in these. These were the last 2 flowers to open. I stuffed some cotton balls in there to see if I could get them to push out a little bit, but because the flowers aren't very flat, as you can see here, they're not very flat. A warning against this: I don't think this is legal if you're going to show your plant in an orchid show. But since there's no show right now, I'm just doing it anyway, just for my own benefit. And in the past, I'll show you, this shape right here is more what is typical of how this bloomed in the past. This dorsal sepal would be way up here, and then these would be way down here. And it was just kind of not that great of a shape. But I'm happy to see that these other ones are not doing that. So it is true, apparently, that if your plant is really strong and it'll have a better blooming, and the shape and the texture and all of that can be better. So if you have a plant and it blooms and it's not that great the first time, keep it and let it get a little stronger. It might improve over time. So since this is the most flowers I've had off this plant, and these were the first 2 to open, so I think that's why these have a better shape. And also the other 2 over there, I kind of let them get squished when they were opening. And also these flowers, since they have heavy substance, they weigh a ton. They're really heavy flowers, and I had to put little crutches underneath the stems, because if you look down at where the sheath meets the leaf, you can see that that's creased. I'm hoping that that the weight of the flowers didn't crush the tissue of the flower stems, but they did crush the tissue of the sheath. So I don't know how long these will last. I'm really hoping that they're going to be all right, but that's probably caused by warm night temperatures. If your night temperatures don't cool down enough, the tissue expands too rapidly and can become soft. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that. And also, this is blooming really, really late. It is like the 1st of July, or maybe the 30th of June. This usually blooms in April. And I think that also has to do with warm temperatures, and possibly because of some far red spectrum in my lights. I'm not sure. All my stuff is blooming on a really weird schedule this year. But I've got new growths coming up, and I think I've got one on the other side. I do have a little knob down there somewhere. Oh, and there's another eye breaking right there. So I'm really pleased with this plant. It was not like it was one of my favorites for because the flowers are huge and they smell amazing. But it wasn't one of my favorites for shape. And I actually, I loaned it to my aunt for a couple years, and well, then I thought I'd moved to Montana and I couldn't take all my plants with me, and so I loaned this one to my aunt and some others, and then I gave some others to my friend. And when I went and picked up my orchids from my friend, I thought this one had been with her and had died, and I cried about it. So when my aunt finally, my aunt got sick with cancer and passed a couple years ago, and so I went back and took all the orchids back and took her orchids as well, and I was really pleased to see that she had done well with this one, and I'm glad. I wish it bloomed for her. I don't think she ever got it to bloom, but and it has only bloomed once since 2000. Well, this is the second time since 2014. I don't know, but it missed a year last year. It didn't bloom last spring, or maybe I'm off on my timetables. I don't know. Anyway, I'm so excited to have this. I'm so pleased to see that this flower is a better shape. Usually at orchid shows this would get a second place, but maybe if it's got, I mean a third place, maybe if it's got a shape more like this, it might do a little better in the future. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. This is a popular, the LC Irene Finney Spring's Best is similar to this. The Spring Bouquet was the one that was apparently bred into this with the mossiae, but I don't know. There's two Irene Finneys. There's one in 1964 and 1968, I think, if I remember correctly. So it's a nice plant. I'm expecting it to get taller, probably, but it's pretty compact. But it is an older hybrid, so some of those things get huge. Those plants, they didn't worry about keeping them compact back then, so I don't know how big this is gonna get, but so far it's been a pretty nice compact, sort of shortish plant, which is great because the flowers are just massive. So yeah, it's one I would recommend to anyone. It's always been easy to grow too. Thanks for watching.